Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome into Everything Business, where we show you how to turn your passion into purpose, then turn purpose into profits. You're now in the studio with Shannon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to In the Studio with Shannon. This podcast is basically designed to give you some information as it relates to trending business matters and to even answer any questions you may have as it relates to business ownership. You can always listen to us live at blogtalkradio.com/SpeakShannon. Or you can actually dial in to either ask a question or maybe even join in the conversation. And that dial-in number is 323-642-1108. Now, we're going to be discussing, at least for about a week now, about how to get your business certified as a woman-owned small business venture. Exactly what it is and how to go about obtaining it. But before we go into that, let me just give you a little history about me. I have over 20 years of legal experience. I'm also a notary, and I've been in business since 2005. We've got our podcast, Granting Favor Talk Radio. We've got a digital magazine, a networking referral business, real estate, 501c3 nonprofit. And we're just so thankful for what God is doing with us in this season. So what can you expect from these podcast episodes? Well, since this is the very first one, this is episode 1, we want to make sure that everyone, kind of understands exactly what it is that we're doing. We're talking about trending industrial information, just some girl talk as it relates to business ownership and some pitfalls to avoid. You definitely are going to want to tune in to get some information regarding all of this. When I actually first started in my business venture, everything that I learned was basically by trial and error, and I wish that I would have had someone to kind of, help pull me along, and maybe, I could have avoided some of the mistakes. But then on the opposite end of that, those mistakes were good mistakes because it allowed me to learn and to actually take the bull by the horns and get out there on faith and do what I needed to do. All right, so now let's get into exactly what is a woman-owned business. Well, the Woman-Owned Small Business Program, or WOSB, is a federal contracting program, and what it does is it allows women-owned businesses to be able to bid on federal contracts, okay? Getting your business certified in this program, number one, it makes it easier for your company to compete and actually win federal contracts. And then the different agencies, the different federal agencies that are actually giving away or these contracts, the agencies that are in charge of these contracts, that they have to give away at least 5% of their contracting dollars has to go to women-owned small businesses. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. And it's simple. The federal government contracts with so many different companies to do a variety of things. So don't think that because your small business is a daycare or if your small business sits with the elderly, don't think that your company cannot fulfill a need that the federal government has. There are thousands upon thousands of these contracts available, and it is just totally up to you to take the time to look and to do so on a consistent basis to find out exactly what's available for your company. And then another thing, if by bidding and actually being awarded a federal contract, it has no other choice but to allow your business to grow, because now you're able to get capital. You're now able to get revenue. And if you do a great job, that particular contract could very well possibly renew itself year after year after year. So contracting officers with this federal contracting program, they have to set aside contracts specifically for women-owned small businesses and economically disadvantaged women's small business entities. So once again, I'm going to repeat that. They have to set aside certain contracts specifically for women-owned small businesses. So as of December of 2015, it also allows these contracting officers to grant to women-owned small businesses under sole source authority in specific circumstances. So basically, they have to give them to you, okay? If you are not a small business owner that is represented at least 51% by a female, then you're not going to be eligible. And I just want to say this. I know that there are lots of female entities out there that are into construction, okay? There are tons of contracting available for contractors, and doesn't matter if it's a woman that owns it or if it's a man that owns it. So the basic premise behind saying that is to just let you know that you are eligible to receive those funds. So what are some qualifications that a woman-owned small business must meet in order to even be eligible to bid on these contracts? Well, as I've alluded to before, that your company must be at least 51% unconditionally and directly owned by a woman or women who are United States citizens, okay? And that woman must manage the day-to-day operations of the company. It must be the woman that's making the long-term decisions for the business, and it's the woman that must hold the highest officer position in the company. So if you're an LLC, that would be comparable to the managing member, okay? And the woman must work at the business full-time during normal working hours. So just to kind of backtrack just a little bit with that, if you're working a full-time job and your business is something that you're just doing on the side, then you will not be eligible for Women-Owned Small Business Certification. You have to be working at your business full-time. One of the main benefits that I like with this particular certification is that unlike 8A, and for those of you who know what 8A is referring to, and for those of you who don't, we're going to be covering that in some later episodes. But if you wanted to be able to get contracting opportunities through being an 8A certified company, you have to have been in business for at least 2 years. Well, not so with the Women-Owned Small Business Certification. There is no minimum amount of time for the business to be operational. So as soon as you form your business with your local Secretary of State, as soon as you get your tax ID number, then you can start the process of actually preparing your company to be eligible as a woman-owned small business venture to bid on federal contracts. So just, as an aside, just to kind of give you a little bit more information, another eligibility requirement is that your personal net worth must be less than $750,000 excluding ownership in the business or your primary residence, any income that's reinvested or used to pay the taxes of the business, any funds that have been reinvested into your IRA or some other type of retirement account, adjusted gross income average over 3 years is $350,000 or less, and that the fair market value of all of your assets is $6 million or less. Now, I'm not trying to get into anybody's pocketbook because I don't really let anyone get into mine. But if you want to count your coins, as I'm sure you're counting your coins, having a personal net worth of less than $750,000 and the fair market value of all of your assets must be $6 million or less. I really do believe that that would encompass just about every small business that is owned by a woman that's listening to this broadcast right now. Remember, your personal net worth has to be less than $750,000, and the fair market value of all of your assets must be $6 million or less. Now, to me, I think that that is wonderful news. I think that that definitely deserves an applause for the simple fact that everybody basically is eligible for this certification. And then you can turn right around and start bidding on some of these government contracts. Now, one of the things that you will be asked when getting this certification is you have to know what your NAICS codes are. NAICS is the North American Industry Classification System, and for every industry, there's a different NAICS code. You might be in manufacturing. There's a NAICS code for that. You might be in photography. There's a NAICS code for that. You may be in the legal field. There's a NAICS code for that. So you definitely need to know what your industry is and what the NAICS code for your industry is when trying to get your organization ready and eligible as a woman-owned small business. It is not anything that's difficult, okay? You just have to put in the time, get the paperwork done. And far too often, I hear so many women-owned small businesses tell me as an excuse for not getting it done, well, the paperwork was just too aggravating. I just didn't have the time to sit down and to do it, or I didn't understand what was going on. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the only dumb questions are the questions that are not asked. So there are different resources out there that can, be to your assistance in getting this done. Also, my company, Granting Favor Consultants, we assist women-owned small businesses with getting this eligibility/certification all day long, okay? So no excuse for not getting it done, okay? It's just basically something that would behoove you to look into. There are federal contracts that could be $50,000 a year on up to $500,000 per year, just depending upon which government agency is requesting the type of service that your group, your organization, your business could provide. And always remember that the federal government can contract with small businesses for a plethora of different types of services, okay? So, as my mother would always say, I'd rather have the certification and not need it than to need it and not have it. So it's not going to hurt in any way for you to get this extra level, as it were, of credibility for your organization, that you've gotten this certification and now you can bid on certain contracts just like the bigwigs do. And remember, they have to give you the money. It's not that. It's a guessing game. If you find a contract that is specifically set aside for small businesses that are owned by a woman or women, they have to give it to you. You know, if it's a contract, and we're going to go into this a little bit later on in the week with some other episodes that we're going to be doing. But if you find a contract and it specifically states that it is set aside exclusively for women-owned small businesses, and if no women-owned small businesses, not if they can't even get 2 or 3 firms to actually contract on it, that's the reason why so many of these other bigger corporations are getting some of these federal contracting dollars, because there aren't enough women-owned small businesses out there that have actually certified themselves to be eligible to bid on these federal contracts. And I am trying to make it my business as of right now to make sure that most of these, or really all women-owned small businesses, are aware of what's going on, what you can do to better engage with the federal government, and to make sure that you're kept abreast of exactly what's going on, what sort of contracts are actually available, and how you can get your hands on those dollars. One other thing that I also wanted to let everyone know is I decided that for this week we would concentrate on women-owned small businesses. So if you do have any questions about anything that you hear throughout these episodes, or if you've got an idea for an episode, some information that you're just having a hard time coming across and you kind of need us to maybe touch on that, you can always send those questions to my attention. And the email is grantingfavor@barnesgroupent.com. And that's Barnes Group ENT, and the ENT is the abbreviation for enterprises. So again, my email is grantingfavor@barnesgroupent.com. And just state, hey, Shannon, I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm not quite sure where to go. Or, Shannon, yes, I am a woman-owned small business, but can you help me get this certification going? Or, send me an email, Shannon, I'm already certified as a woman-owned small business, but I'm having a hard time finding contracts that I can actually bid on. So we're here to do our best to help you and your business go to that next level. It is just really important to me that these podcasts that we're doing, and we're calling it in the studio with Shannon, it is just so important that we provide you with information that you really need or that you really want to know. We don't want to just come on the air and just spout out things, just total rhetoric that doesn't have any meat to sustain you. So it is very, very important that we give out information that you can use. And as always, we welcome any feedback that you can give to us because, like I said, it is just important that we position ourselves to be able to get everything that we can, to get our hands on some of these federal dollars that have basically been set aside just for us. So if you have, like I said, any other questions, or if you just want to go to our website just to see what else we have going on, you can always go to www.barnesgroupent.com. Make sure that you hit on the Companies tab, and when you hit the Companies tab, you'll see the Granting Favor tab. And then once you hit the Granting Favor tab, then you'll be able to see all of the services that we do offer. And also, if you hit the SAM page within the Services for Granting Favor, there is a form that you can fill out should you need to get you registered so that you can get this invaluable certification. So we're going to go on ahead and end our segment right here, but always know that we are here to provide you, our listeners, with up-to-date trending information for all business industries. And don't forget that we're turning passion into purpose and then turning that purpose into profit. I am so thankful that you joined us today. And as always, you can follow us at blogtalkradio.com/Speak Shannon. That's blogtalkradio.com/Speak Shannon. And thank you so much for joining me, and have a blessed rest of your day.